To restore business operations efficiently, security incidents need to be classified according to their severity and then prioritized for recovery. Let's talk about determining factors for a moment. First question, what is the scope of impact? This can be determined by considering 5 factors. Number 1, downtime. Any disruption to business, especially customer-facing processes, which need to be moved to the top of the remediation pile. Number 2, recovery time. The time taken by a business to return processes to normal operation. Recovery time depends on the scope and severity of an incident. Remember, systems will be vulnerable during recovery. The value of data is one of the most critical aspects to consider. Number 3, data integrity. Securing all data should be one of the top scope considerations. The more valuable the data, the higher the remediation priority. Number 4, economic. This is fairly self-explanatory, but you need to consider both the short-term and the long-term economic impact of an incident. Not only will you calculate what the cost of business interruption is, but also how this will impact your reputation or market ranking long-term. Number 5, system process criticality. Because IT assets can compromise data and security incident can stop business processes in the short term, impacting market standing and reputation in the long term, consider the most critical business processes first. One of the best ways to prepare for such a triage is to build your own profiles for known security incidents and a playbook to define how your organization will detect and respond to specific scenarios. Let's now move on to an important element, motive. In most cases, an attacker's ultimate goal is to extract and misuse data. In some cases, however, they may simply want to inflict damage. Assessing a motive when you discover an incident can be helpful, but elusive. Be alert and understand. Skilled hackers sometimes try to camouflage their real intent. They may exhibit as a low-skilled attacker out to steal customer emails, while the real damage is being done as they hack highly confidential data. Which brings us to types of data. There are a couple types of data you need to guard with your cybersecurity badge-holding life. The first one we call personally identifiable information, or PII. This is just as it sounds, personal identifiers. If an attacker can obtain several key identifiers like birthdate, address, and social security number, they can inflict damage. Think about the common questions systems typically use to reset a password, like, what is your mother's maiden name? Criminals are always looking to steal PII, which they can misuse to commit several types of fraud and/or attacks. In an organization, PII is very important and the security of it should be considered a top priority. Another type of highly sensitive data is personal health information, or PHI. This includes the medical history of patients. Typically, when used for research, all personal identifiers are removed from personal health information to protect individuals from being identified, but are encoded to reverse engineer back to the individual. If PII or PHI data is compromised, unfortunately, the data cannot be changed and could wreak havoc on an organization's reputation or even wreck people's personal lives. Another common type of targeted data is payment card information. This includes the unique qualifiers on a credit or debit card, its number, date of expiration, and the CVV. It's that little 3 or 4 digit number on the back of the card you always have to flip over to the other side to tell the person on the phone. Yeah, that one. PIN numbers are also targeted and should never be revealed to anyone outside the actual card holder. Moving to the business side of data, intellectual property or IP is specific information uniquely held by a company. This can include patents, designs, or plans. Corporate confidential data refers to sensitive data concerning profits, market share, cash flow, accounting data, mergers, and acquisitions. Generally, the type of data a competitor or foreign government might use to damage an organization, like Russia or China. If you suspect your organization has been the victim of a cybercrime of some sort, you may need to conduct digital forensics in a manner easily communicated to the proper authorities, and for that you will need a forensics kit. Digital forensics is defined as the technique used for collecting legally valid evidence of a cybercrime perpetrated on an organization's information systems infrastructure. Since digital forensic investigations are usually carried out by law enforcement authorities, your objective is to help the effort by ensuring any forensic evidence will be admissible in a court of law. To do this, you must abide by the evidence lifecycle. Just as forensic experts use fingerprint detection devices to collect fingerprints from a crime scene, digital forensic professionals also employ tools to interpret digital evidence, like fingerprints, which cannot be seen by the naked eye. This is called latent evidence. Forensic investigation of external attacks can be challenging, as hackers are often very good at hiding their identity. This is where forensic evidence becomes vital. A digital forensics workstation is the home base for gathering forensic evidence. It should be capable of processing large volumes of data. Make sure the workstation is not exposed to or even has access to the internet. Another key tool is the write blocker, which is a tangible device or software installed on a forensics workstation. The write blocker is used to ensure the image obtained from non-volatile computer storage is forensically intact. If any data on the source data disk is altered in digital evidence collection process, that data will not be valid in the court of law. A write blocker prevents data on the source disk or volume from being altered in any way. No detail is too small as you build your workstation. Remember to gather the suitable cables, no Wi-Fi here, drive adapters to move data as needed, and appropriately wipe removable media for storage of original image files. No forensics workstation is complete without at least one camera system to record all relevant evidence collecting activities, crime tape to ensure only authorized forensic investigators are granted access to the physical evidence at the crime scene, and tamper-proof seals to seal evidence and prevent unauthorized handling of collected evidence. Prior to moving forward with gathering evidence, you need to determine the method of acquiring the evidence and documenting the process you will follow to do so. You can also obtain evidence in the following ways. Shut down the system. The drawback of this method is that malware may be coded to wipe out traces of evidence from the RAM if it detects the system is being shut down. Turn off power supply. The computer will turn off without going through the log off and shutdown process. This is probably the best method of collecting data in forensically sound condition. However, the process might corrupt data. Copy data while the system is on. Data acquired while the computer is on could change in the process, so it may not be accepted in a court of law. This method enables you to examine the active computer, its network connectivity, memory contents, and the associated applications running live in real time. If you decide to follow this method, make sure you isolate the host from the rest of the network.